Um, we now got to the point where we realized that, okay, now we're mature enough to step into digital transformation. So we got to the point where, we set up the org structure to reflect the thinking of and the vision of management to, go in that direction. So yes, digital transformation is something, it's always an ongoing process. It's always an ongoing thing. There's really no point where you say I've fully digitally transformed and I have to stop now, because it's, as far as technology innovation is ongoing, it's something that will continue evolving, and businesses also have to, keep track of that and, respond accordingly. So, so for an agenda today, being an executive class, we'll look at what is digital transformation, why does it even matter to businesses, what is artificial intelligence, how we can harness AI for business growth, and then overcoming resistance to change, sustainability. Now, that resistance to change component is the people aspect of, deploying any technological solution. So in my experience, particularly in the FIRS, where, we've deployed all kinds of technology, we've also had to be conscious of the people side of things. That is, managing change across the enterprise when it comes to deploying technology. So if you deploy a wonderful solution and it is not adopted, then of course that's just a recipe for failure. You would just have wasted material resources, because your human resources are key to ensuring that you get the full benefits of deploying the technology that you have deployed. Because we do not just deploy technology for the sake of doing so. We do that for a purpose or an objective, which is to realize certain business visions and objectives. So now, digital transformation at its core, it's basically the integration of digital technology into, businesses. I mean, it's as simple as that. So all areas of the business, you're fundamentally changing how you operate and deliver value to customers. So things that maybe you did manually or you relied on individuals to perform, such tasks and all of that. Digital transformation means adopting technology into all areas of your business, from how, you register your customers to how you interact with them, and how you ultimately get your products and services across to those customers. So it's all about, introducing and imbibing, digital technology in all aspects of your business. That's what's at the heart of digital transformation. It's a cultural change issue as well, because, it's not about saying that this is something we fully understood. This is something, because digital transformation is more of a journey than, a destination, because it's an ongoing thing. You could deploy technology today, and with the pace at which technology evolves, it could be obsolete tomorrow, and then you find yourself having to deploy, a newer version. And that is why the blue chip software companies famously deploy updates and patches every now and again that, sometimes could just become almost difficult to keep up with. So it's a cultural change that requires organizations to challenge the status quo, experiment. Experiment is key there, because, in digital transformation, like I said, even in our experience in FIRS, there are things that we realized that we didn't do very well, and we learned from them, and we incorporate those lessons into future endeavors so that, we do better. So, getting comfortable with failure is one of the, aspects of digital transformation. You need to understand that it's not everything you delve into that will succeed, right off the bat. There are some things that will just be there that you learn from. And, those lessons, ultimately help you. Like I said, digital transformation is a term that, many executives would have heard, every now and again. And whether you like it or not, or you don't, you're not comfortable with the term, the mandate, the message behind digital transformation is simple. It's saying you have to rethink old models. You have to experiment more. You have to become more agile, right? That in today's world, in today's business, you do not just stay fixed. You do not just stick to a single business model and say, this is how it has worked for the last 50 years, and this is how we're going to continue doing business. You know, uh, Something the world learned very harshly in 2020 was the pandemic, which, nobody saw coming, nobody was, prepared for it. But at the point, we all realized that the world had to learn the hard way that, the pandemic was something fundamental that changed how we operated, right? So it changed how, businesses worked. So if businesses that were not agile, suffered it, but businesses that were nimble and agile enough in the ability to respond were able to even turn a huge profit. We look at examples like Zoom. We look at examples like Teams, Teams from Microsoft, and all the delivery companies, and that turned a fortune based on the fact that everyone had to stay at home. So, I mean, the fact that webinars have become more popular after the pandemic is a testament to, the changing business environment. So businesses that are not able to adopt that, adapt to that new model of or ways things are done, suffered for it. I remember back in the day when we deployed one of our messaging and collaboration platforms that we deployed was called Microsoft Link, and it was just a messaging. And it was pretty much like this Zoom platform we're using right now. And then it wasn't having online meetings wasn't a popular thing because I'm talking about 2013, 2012, 2013. And we were trying to get people to adopt that technology, but it was an uphill task because people couldn't really understand the value and they really couldn't understand why they had to do that. But now it's telling people about online meetings is no longer a strange thing because after the pandemic, it is something that everyone has become accustomed to. So talking about digital transformation, it's about being agile. It's about being able to respond as a business. Uh, uh, you should be able to respond to the changing environment, be able to rethink your old models of doing things, be able to, experiment more. And that's how you're able to stay ahead of the game, stay ahead of your competition, and retain your customers. So why digital transformation matters, like I said, it's the biggest reason for digital transformation, I would say to me, it's a survival issue. Because, if you do not transform, if you do not adopt to how the world works now, your business is going to go extinct. I mean, we are all familiar with the Kodak story. Kodak made the best cameras, and when it was a film, printing of film era, they were doing very well. But as soon as, the world went in the direction of, digital photography, they didn't respond on time. And, that story has been, taught in several environments where, the necessity for adaptability, for being agile in business operations, um, it's important. So let's not be like Kodak. Let us be nimble. Let us be agile. Let us understand that digital transformation is actually a survival issue. It's something we have to embrace. It's something that it's not a nice to have, but a necessity. Because whether you like it or not, in some form or the other, you're doing it. I remember a couple of years ago, we all didn't order food online. But now we have a number of applications, a number of apps that we can download and order food from several restaurants. So, and several restaurants sign on to this application platforms for, food delivery and all of that. So right now, as if you're into the food or or restaurant business, one of the things you want to consider is signing up onto this food delivery platform, so that, because a number of people, subscribe to these platforms now. So like I said, it's a survival issue. It's not just about having something that is nice. So after understanding digital transformation, then let's take a look at artificial intelligence. In its simplest form, artificial intelligence is the simulation of human intelligence in machines that can perform tasks such as problem solving, learning, and adapting. So basically, machines trying to be like human beings. And when I'm talking of machines, yeah, I'm talking of, at the core of it is computers, right? So human intelligence, machine intelligence. So artificial intelligence, it's if you like, it's machine intelligence, more or less. So you're saying we're trying to get machines to do the things that human beings can do. And what do? We reason, we think, we see, we speak, we hear, right? Those are things that human beings do. More importantly, the fact that we can think, we can reason, we can solve problems, we can learn, we can adapt. Those are human features that we're trying to get machines to do. So goals of artificial intelligence is reasoning and problem solving. That was the earliest form, and knowledge representation. I'm sure at one point or the other, we all have had to be have chatted with, interacted with a chatbot on some platform, or one platform or the other. And, before it used to be, there has to be a person always behind the chat responding to you. But now the first level, it's always in most, companies nowadays, they put a chatbot there that responds to basic questions. And when it goes beyond that, it is passed to, the human agents to, take things that is beyond, the programming of the chatbot. We've all maybe recently heard of the models like ChatGPT. They come under what the category of artificial intelligence we refer to as natural language processing, and a subcategory of that is large language models. So the ability for a computer to speak to you, to, respond in human-like language. Prior to, such model, we didn't have we didn't have intelligence that could respond in natural language, in the way we speak, the way we talk to each other. So now we have such models, and they are constantly being improved upon. Then, like I said, there's the perception component of artificial intelligence. So computer vision, speech recognition, image classification. So computer vision, things like, using sensors for capturing data, speech recognition. You've all had text-to-speech experiences where you could call Siri on, if you use an Apple phone, or you use Google Assistant for an Android phone, where you could just speak a command, and the phone, dials a number, or, switches off a light or something. So you have speech recognition there. And you also have image classification, where, you can compare images with you can send in an image to an AI program, where it could compare it with stored images in the library, and come up with search results. Like if you're familiar with the Amazon shopping app, or AliExpress, they have this image classification AI models that, you can take a picture of an item, upload it, and the AI model is able to match it with, the inventory, and check if and return results. So instead of typing and searching, you could actually take a picture and upload it. So that's image and classification. So artificial intelligence has come a long way. It's machines are doing unbelievable things. We even have WhatsApp is a very common platform, and we have a chat model that's Facebook's chat model, the Meta AI on WhatsApp that you can actually chat with as if you're chatting with a contact of yours. And you can even ask it to generate pictures, and it's quite interesting what it's able to come up with. So that is artificial intelligence in a nutshell. So how do you harness the power of AI for your business groups? So driving innovation and creativity, with AI, you're able to, explore new ideas, develop new products and services, and stay ahead of the competition all the time. I mean, if you're sitting down by yourself trying to come up with ideas the old-fashioned way, it could take some time. But you could throw out some prompts, throw out some questions to an AI model, and it will use information gathered all over the internet and come up with pretty interesting suggestions on what you could do with your business. I'll like to challenge all of you. After this meeting, go ahead and open up ChatGPT, set up an account. It's free, and describe your business to the AI model and say, this is what I do, and say, give me some ideas on how I can improve my business in 2024. And you'll be amazed at some of the suggestions to come up with. Of course, there's always a disclaimer that AI can make mistakes, so it's not human and it's not perfect yet. If it was perfect, then the interesting portrayals that Hollywood has shown us over the years, starts coming to mind. I remember the old movie, the Terminator movie series, the Matrix, iRobot, and a couple of don't mind me, I'm a movie buff. I watch a lot of Hollywood movies. So especially the ones that have to do with AI, because people close to me know that one of my favorite quotes is there is no spoon from the original Matrix movie, for those of you that have seen it. And what it was essentially referring to was that nothing is impossible, that you could do anything you set your mind to, and it's akin to the Adidas slogan that says impossible is nothing. So innovation, creativity, all of that, it gives you steps ahead. It takes AI is able to take you, some steps ahead in getting to, where you want your business to be in terms of growth and reaching out to your target, your audience. Predictive analysis, enhancing workforce productivity. So there are various models, algorithms that could do, could forecast trends, identify risk, capitalize on opportunities, and all of that. And the interesting part is that you don't need something crazy, some crazy investment anymore to leverage on AI. With simple models like I said, with large language models like ChatGPT, you can actually have interesting conversations. So automation of routine tasks is one of the things you can achieve with AI for business groups, so that we have robotic process automation software that you can deploy, and you could free up your human resources for more strategic work. I think with the advent of such AI models, the routine and mundane tasks that that humans used to perform are things that eventually will be replaced by machines, so that humans can do more strategic work. The truth is, of course, the machines can't think at our level. And so, yes, no machine is replacing any human being anytime soon. Predictive maintenance, optimizing resource allocation, enhancing decision-making process. Decision is all about, in business, it's all about the facts, it's all about the information, it's all about the data that is presented to you. So if a machine is able to gather all the information you need about the market and present it to you in a nice form and you're able to make decisions off of that, then of course, it makes your work as a business owner much simpler. So even going, so still optimizing business operations with AI. You can look at, like I already talked about, predictive maintenance for machinery. So you don't want a situation whereby you're relying on Mr. John Doe to run maintenance on certain machinery if you're into manufacturing and all of that. And then, he forgets or he has an emergency and all of that. And, your machine's grind to a halt because somebody forgot. Now, with AI models, you can take certain data off your machines and plug it into certain models, and it can give you a maintenance schedule and, things like that. Supply chain optimization. I talked about, delivery, food delivery, and all those stuff with AI and analytics. You're able to look at how best to reduce costs and optimize profits because these AI models are interesting in how they're able to analyze such data. Cybersecurity too, you can use cybersecurity for your online presence. I mean, we're all online, we're even having this meeting over the internet. So security, data protection, and all of that is important to all of us. So we can leverage on AI to provide such cybersecurity defenses. Workflow optimization is also something we could do in organizations, like mine. We have a lot of workflows where, requests emanate from a particular function, goes through a number of departments, goes through certain approval cycles and all of that before, it gets to the end where, the workflow is closed. So for organizations that use a lot of workflows, you could use AI to automate such workflows, increasing rather operational efficiency and reducing human error. And then for those in the manufacturing sector, you can use that for quality control and defect detection. So you don't even have to do like a physical inspection to come up with projections for quality control and defect detection. Now, AI is pretty big on data because AI is all about analyzing and processing vast amounts of data. So and the whole essence of doing all of that is so that you can get proper insights and be able to make informed decisions. So for risk assessment and predictive modeling, that's also a big area that AI models can, assist individuals, assist companies, assist businesses, for what they need to do. Whether the risk assessment is whether to take on a project or not to, AI models can help you. You plug in certain information and, you can get some advice to know so that you don't jump into certain endeavors blindly as we used to do anymore. So that's bottom line for such things. So performance monitoring, KPI evaluation, financial forecasting, all of this, we have AI models that can, help businesses with such issues. So I give a direct example. I've alluded to this earlier, and this is talking about personalizing customer experience. So you can use an AI model to analyze your customer behavior. So based on data, what parts of your website are they going to? What services and products are they requesting for? What's their behavior? And you leverage AI, and then you can even predict customer needs and preferences. I'm sure we've all had a weird experience where maybe we're having a conversation in our houses or in our offices, and then the next thing that an ad for that thing we're talking about shows up on our social media feeds and all of that, and you're wondering, hey, how did that happen? So it's quite interesting on how far AI has gone to personalize customer behavior and to analyze customer behavior and give personalized recommendations and all of that. Because at the end of the day, a business is out there to sell products and services. Now, if you're not able to give to your customers what they need at every point in time, then the competition is going to get the best of the market. So chatbot assistance, behavioral analysis, as we talked about, that is one of the things that AI can, do as a tool. So these innovations in AI can help businesses, to achieve desired growth. Now, one of the things that come with very significant advancements in technology is resistance to change. So change management is very, very important in any digital transformation endeavor. As a matter of fact, in FIRS, what we had to do was to even create an entire department dedicated to change management that manages the people side of change. So once people are afraid that, a machine is coming to take their jobs, they start acting out. They start, sabotaging, if you will, your technological deployments, and you don't want that. And so if you manage the change process properly from the very beginning, like in FIRS, we adopt what we call the ADKA change model, where, you create, ADKA is an acronym for awareness, desire, knowledge, ability, and reinforcement. Now, we take it in that model. So we create awareness for the change that is happening, and then, create the necessary desire by, telling them what is in for them. And, so change management is pretty much, working on the people's psychology, the people side of things, to ensure that, they understand what is going on. They understand that they don't need to be threatened by any machine. Like I said, the Hollywood folks have not really been very helpful in that department, because obviously many of the movies we have seen about AI and machines have been them, the AI taking over the world with a, small group of humans, coming up as a resistance. So what could be done, like I said, in the ADKA model that we've adopted in FIRS, is education and training. So workshops, skill upgrade opportunities. Let your workforce understand that this changes, this deployment, this adoption of digital transformation, it's not about them losing their jobs, but it's about them working more effectively, and, adopting, the realities of today. So, and it's very important that all of this is seen from the very top, from the executive management level of any organization. There has to be that complete leadership buy-in that, for such endeavor. Digital transformation is not something that, can happen at the foot soldiers level. It has to happen from the very top. The management, the board, the executive leadership of any organization, of any business, need to understand the reason and the reason and the objectives behind any form of digital transformation effort, especially when it has to do with leveraging innovation in AI. So fostering a culture of innovation is very important. You need to understand that your employees understand that it's allowed to fail. It's allowed to experiment. That is not the end of the road. I remember a famous picture of that I saw. I mean, I'm sure many people have come across it, of Richard Branson, who he took a picture near beside an employee of his who was sleeping, and he posted it and said that after he had to take a break from after a long day of attending to the business and all of that. He didn't see it as sleeping on duty, but he just said he worked too hard and he was exhausted. So um, so that really is something, a long way to motivate employees and get them to understand that, look, with technology, it's still we're still important. The machines are not replacing us, and also creating incentives for innovation. So with rewards in place, putting proper reward systems for employees to, reap benefits whenever they come up with innovation that helps the organization. It actually goes a long way. And that is also testament in, we've seen that in FIRS where, the employees get rewarded if they come up with, the innovation that, helps with our tax collection. So also, when it comes to deploying artificial intelligence solutions, you have to consider, the ethical components, because if an AI model says, predicts that you should lay off half of your workforce and all of that, then, you have an ethical dilemma, because you now have to consider everything, because, of course, those decisions are taken without any form of consideration for the emotional side of things, because I don't think any AI model has been able to replicate emotions. But we're staying tuned. We're staying tuned to see how that goes. And so, ethical decisions, impact on employee and workforce, regulatory compliance, and data privacy. We're aware that Nigeria today has data protection laws in place. So whatever we're doing, we have to have these considerations, that we don't want a situation where the customers of your business start getting worried about where their information is being leaked, or where their information ends up because you're deploying certain technology. Like I said, navigating that, you have to ensure fairness and transparency. You have to understand that, the models you're deploying, you have to, research them properly. Make sure that you don't just take any model that is thrown at you because you saw an ad on YouTube, or, a friend just brought it over. This is something that there are a number of AI models out there, and it's important that we understand and research them before imbibing or deploying them in our businesses. So privacy and bias and discrimination. I'm sure a number of us would have heard about the time where Apple phones were not able to distinguish between people of certain races for facial recognition. And, that pretty much, that caused a bit of a stare on social media, and they had to come up with a bunch of updates and patches to address that concern. So yes, it is very important to ensure that whatever technology we're deploying doesn't now create some form of bias or discrimination. So I'm sure my time is yeah. So sustainability. So for AI, for you to make the best out of AI, the roadmap, I would say is assessing your current digital capabilities. Now, for every business, it's going to be different. So it's good to do an assessment. It's good to, sometimes, you could get the help of consultants that, could do an assessment, look at where you are, and identify areas where AI can improve efficiency, so that you don't just jump on the AI bandwagon because someone said so. The idea is to do an assessment, do a discovery, understand that okay, we can improve on this area, but this other area is more of a feature thing. And it's good to start with small scale implementation, start with pilot projects before full scale deployment. And we're actually practicing that within FIRS as we're starting a pilot of electronic invoicing. The idea is to get taxpayers to report all transactions via electronic invoicing, and we're starting with the big taxpayers for a pilot, so that we understand, learn the lessons, and then we roll it out fully. So small scale implementation is very important. Start with pilots, don't go full scale deployment, except of course if it's a very small business, then of course then you can go without much fear. Now, continuous monitoring is very important because you have to keep looking at the results you are getting. It's not about, I have deployed AI and then I go to sleep. No, you keep monitoring, make sure that you're getting what you set out to achieve. If a particular model or your deployment is not working as, then you evaluate your performance and adjust your strategy as needed. Like I said, it's all about being nimble, and that's the whole idea of digital transformation. So whatever you're doing in digital transformation space, it's about being agile, it's about being nimble, it's about being able to adapt. And then very important, whatever you do, think about the future. Where do you want to be as a business in the next couple of years? Don't deploy technology that, will now change your entire direction or would require you to change your entire business direction and all of that. So these are things that need to be seriously considered in deploying any form of technology, in going on any form of digital transformation journey. So I've spoken a lot about, using AI to do a whole lot of this. So, I mean, let's look at actual examples. So, these resources are just a few that I curated to, just share with you, and then you can look them up and see if they're even a fit for you. So UiPath is a robotic process automation platform. So just Google. So any of these ones, the title in yellow, you can just Google it and take you to the website, and then you can see the services, the pricing, and how it can help your business. So this is an RPH platform. Zapier automates workflows between different apps. So if you have things like scheduling, email notification, and data synchronization requirements like that, you can have that. So these are examples for automation of administrative tasks. Tools for customer service. We spoke, the example I gave earlier on was even on customer service. So we have Zendesk, we have Intercomfin, we have Zoho Zia. So these are all very robust customer service AI models that can be the first layer. And the interesting thing is that they are mostly software as a service. So you just pay a subscription and, you integrate it into your service, and, you don't have to bother about working on the back end yourself. We have corporate marketing. I mean, if you have a good business and you have a good product, you have good services, and your customers don't know about them, then of course you've succeeded in wasting your time. So of course, every business does some form of marketing or the other. So AI tools you could use for that. You have Midjourney, you have Jasper, you have Copy.ai. So as a matter of fact, these tools help you in creating, marketing blogs and ad headlines and what have you, so that it simplifies the process and it helps you with, the things you need to put in place for such efforts. So these are tools. I'm sure the Tlfirst team will share them with the participants so that, you can give them a whirl, or you could even do a simple Google search. Now, the Google that you actually even use for searching also is powered by AI now. So it's not just an index of websites on the internet and you just search for stuff anymore. There's Google happens to be one of the strong forces behind, the development and the progress that AI has made so far. And even their search engine is AI powered, and it's able to bring out results based on location, based on, certain parameters that, they manage. So it's actually quite interesting to know how far AI has come. So in one way or the other, we've all actually used these tools, and it's now about making a conscious decision and a conscious and targeted effort in, incorporating some of these AI resources into our digital transformation journeys for separate different businesses. So in conclusion, for key takeaways for me is to say AI can drive your operational efficiency, productivity, and innovation. You can overcome resistance and foster a culture of innovation, because these are very, very important in the success of your digital transformation journey. So AI-driven digital transformation is a critical pathway for Nigerian businesses. AI is here to stay. Don't fight it, embrace it. That's my talk for today. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Mike. We really appreciate this presentation you have given us this afternoon. I would like to, at this point, this is our Q&A session. I would like to take a few questions that some of our participants had asked. I'll read them out and you may attempt to answer them. I'm sure you had spoken broadly on some of these topics, but please, just for the sake of our participants, because on the sidelines, they've been asking these questions. The first question is on the topic of agility. What tool has the Federal Inland Revenue Service facilitated to companies to enable tax payments via an online tool? The participant is asking if we can get a demo of this software. I'm going to pull the questions together and then you can answer, take them one after the other. The second question is about opportunities. So what opportunities does AI-driven innovation present for Nigerian businesses to personalize customer experiences? The third one says, what strategies can an organization adapt or adopt to ensure that their workforce embraces AI-driven changes, and how can they balance automation with retaining and upskilling human talent? The last question here says, what are the factors that are needed to stimulate a seamless integration of this transformation, and how can we guarantee an effortless handshake? I will leave you to answer these questions, and depending on the time left, if there are any more questions, we'll take them as we go. So I'll allow you, Mr. Mike, to kindly answer some of these questions now. Thank you.
All right, thank you for the questions. I'll talk about the, let me talk about the one for customer experience. Now, for customers to fully, I mean, I did give that as an example, you know, customer experience at the end of the day is the ultimate when it comes to, you know, the success or failure of a business. Because if your customers aren't getting the right experience, then they move to your competition. So some of the tools that I've given an example for is, but there are tools that you can use to automate that first step, you know, in the whole customer experience. So you don't want all your staff, you know, answering mundane questions on the internet when they could be busy having strategy sessions and coming up with ways to improve on the business. So for customer experience, there are a number of AI tools and platforms that can be used to enhance that. So it's imagine if somebody has an issue at 1 a.m. or 2 a.m. when nobody's in your office, and he goes online to ask a question, and you know, you have an AI agent that is able to respond to that, and that person's issue is resolved there and then. I mean, the person will be much happier than if he had to wait till morning when your employees were in the office. So AI goes a long way in enhancing that customer experience. For the employee side of things, I spoke about change management and all of that. You see, at the end of the day, you really can't freestyle adoption. You really can't just hope for the best when it comes to getting adoption for digital transformation, for deployment of AI technology and all of that, because you have to have a targeted effort. You have to have a structured approach to that change management. You have to say, you know what, I'm going to execute this training plan. I'm going to do this upscaling this way. I'm going to you can conduct, you know, a test to find out where everybody, all your human resources are with regards to certain skill sets. And then you determine which upskilling needs they require and all of that. So change management, taking that structured approach to managing employees through the change is very, very important. And talking about factors needed to guarantee, that's on the third question, factors needed to guarantee, effortless handshake between existing systems and all of that. It all comes down to a discovery. Now, a lot of businesses, a lot of organizations just jump into the automation of things without, understanding, without doing a business process reengineering. If you have a faulty business process and you automate that faulty business process, you're going to get a faulty automated system. So you have to do, so even in the FIRS, after all these years, we still had to engage the services of one of the top consulting firms in the country to to standardize our operating procedures across our field offices. So we just did a standard operating procedure project that we're just rounding up now to ensure that the experience across different offices are the same. So to ensure that effortless, seamless handshake, you need to look at your processes. You need to re-engineer them if necessary before you get into the automation. The famous phrase of garbage in, garbage out when it comes to computers still holds even with AI. So if you do not, plan properly, then, the AI is just going to give you what you based on the parameters it had as input, and then that's it. So I hope that has helped. If you need more details, I'll be happy to respond to them through TL. Peter.
All right. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Mike. We want to recognize the presence of our corporate director, Mrs. Yemi Olasade. You're welcome, and thank you for joining us. Mike, I have somebody just asked a question here as well. Said, how is the Federal Inland Revenue Service addressing concerns of AI compliance and privacy? I'm sure you may want to take this one. Okay. After that question, Emmanuel raised his hand. Or before you answer that question, let's hear Emmanuel out. I have an Emmanuel here who raised his hand. Let's hear what he has to say, and then you can pick on the questions on how FIRS is addressing concerns of AI compliance and privacy. Mr. Emmanuel, sir.
Hi, thank you so much.
Yes,
yes, thank you so much for your time. And yeah, very, very amazing presentation. A lot of knowledge has been shared. Actually, the question I was going to ask is what you just read out. And I'm just going to reemphasize because I work for a few companies here in Nigeria and outside. And one of the major issues that we have is when it comes to adoption of artificial intelligence, there are a lot of LLMs, large language models, that we could leverage on that are open source, all right, that will be able to meet the needs, the immediate needs of maybe it's the marketing or it's the customer experience, department, whatever it is. We have a lot of LLMs that we could leverage on, but because they are open source, most of these companies aren't open to, such initiatives. I work as a consultant, and that's a bottleneck. That's a bottleneck that we experience when we interface with these businesses, especially in Nigeria. Well, on the global stage, most of them are still a little bit more, open to it, maybe because they have more understanding. So I want to ask, so this is very similar to the question that you had just mentioned. I want to ask, please, how would you advise that we move along in this direction? Because for employees, I want to take a wild guess that people here are employees and not employers. They are not the decision makers, all right? So even if people here get to learn more about artificial intelligence and get the skill, they are not ultimately the decision makers. The decision makers aren't ready, to make this this heavy investment, on top something that's just going to move, tomorrow, and they're not so certain. So, what would be your advice, and what would you advise to be a way forward for both employers and employees in this position? Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you for that question. Very, very important. As a matter of fact, I've had personal experiences with this whole open source talk. Now, I think for every environment, you need to understand, the culture. Open source, the understanding of open source in Nigeria is quite interesting Because if you go to an organization and you tell them I'm deploying an open source solution for you, the interpretation varies, but they just see it as everybody has access to our system. Not understanding that you're using technologies that are out there that are allowed for you to use without paying a license for. Because even open source technologies come with some of them with MIT license, and there are different licenses that govern the use of some of this open source technology. So, like I said, it's a knowledge and a change management issue. Now, talking about employees having the understanding of artificial intelligence and how it can be used in the digital transformation journey, very important. But more importantly, the executives that make those decisions, that make the ultimate decisions, need to have this understanding. And for those of us that have been in technology for a while, we understand that business people just, look at technology like, technology is, your thing. You guys, IT people, go and sort it out, But it shouldn't be that way. So we have to look for ways to communicate the technology, the importance. So I tend to focus on outcomes. Now, what do we want to achieve? What is the business? Like right now, the executive management of FIRS says we want to use the three pillars of our management is people, process, and technology, right? So you're prioritizing people. You want a better workforce. You want a happier workforce. You're prioritizing processes. I talked about standard operating procedures, and you're prioritizing technology. So how do you use this technology? So what we did was we came up with a technology strategy spanning the next 4 years and presented it to the executive management and say, hey, you said you want to use technology. It's not just talk. This is what it means. We have to do this now, do this then. And, so the nuts and the bolts, you don't want to bore executives so much with it, but you need to get them to understand that whatever it is we're doing, right, it's for a goal. And once you focus more on that goal, it takes more attention from, the input, the effort that needs to go in. So if you want to increase your customer base by 25% in the next 3 years, or you want to increase your revenue by 40% or whatever it is, whatever goal you set for yourself, then you now say, if we do this technology, it yields this result. And then you should deploy technology in a way that you can track your outcomes. That way, you're able to present results to executive management, and you get better buying. Technology, because of its nature, gets a lot of business owners and business people scared. But it's something we have to deal with. And also, like I said, on the open source issue, you need to explain and you need to profile your audience. If the executives you're talking to have a bit of understanding, then you can throw around words. But if they are not, then don't just open your pitch with yeah, I'm saying that because you say you're a consultant. If you open your pitch with deploying an open source solution, a lot of Nigerian businesses will just zone out mentally and say this guy is just not serious. I mean, it's a cultural thing, so it's something we have to walk around. I hope that helps. I'm willing to have this conversation a little further. I'm just looking at the time. And Peter, maybe I could just address the other question you raised about compliance and data protection, privacy. Yeah, all right. So,
yes, sir.
With regards to data privacy, we're working very closely with NITDA, that's the National Information Technology Development Agency. And we have, FRS is now certified. NITDA is the agency overseeing the implementation of the Nigerian Data Protection Act. So we're making sure that when it comes to taxpayer information, which is our primary information that we keep it safe, and it is not leaked, and it is not, made available to who is not supposed to have access to such information. So we recently renewed our ISO 27001 certification, and we're in full compliance with the Nigerian Data Protection at. And specifically, some of the things we've done is for, team validation, API, and what have you. Those are things that, we've wrapped with authentication protection now. Before we left it open because it really didn't matter. But, when it was pointed out to us, we had to do. So that's like a specific example of what we've been able to do to address such concerns. And like I've been reiterating from the beginning of this discussion, it's an ongoing thing. It's not a destination, but a journey. So of course we look at how best we can do things, how we can do things better, and then we adopt. So that's the whole, that's the at the core of digital transformation is your ability to adopt and keep learning and keep doing better. And that's something we try our best to do at FIRS as well. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Mike, for answering those questions. I would want to ask the participants, do we have any more questions? But before we go ahead, Debbie made a comment here, which I want Mr. Mike to also briefly take on before he leaves. Debbie said, as much as we love to make data-driven decisions, which AI can process more data than we can, she said, AI doesn't yet have gut feelings, which many super successful people use to make decisions as well. Now, my questions will be, could this be cross-cultural? Because are we saying because AI, the machines don't have gut feelings yet, they may not be predictive as humans may be? Mr. Mike, sir.
Yes, that is actually very, very, very important. It's one of the things that I've said about, navigating the ethnic bias and what have you in, AI implementations. Yes, gut feelings, machines don't have gut feelings yet. And I mean, if you're a business owner, yeah, we can depend on your gut feeling because it's your business. But if you are in an organization, let's say like a government institution, one person's gut feeling is always not enough. So it's the same way AI, you cannot, I don't believe anybody on this call is going to agree to surgery if the diagnosis was done by AI alone. I mean, you would want to see several doctors. You want to get different, opinions. I mean, so think of that example. So yes, machines don't have gut feelings. We can use AI to a certain level, but AI by no means has gotten to the point of replacing human beings. So that gut feeling is very important. It's still one of the things we have as human beings, is that X factor that differentiates us from the machines. As much as we do the mundane tasks and get it to do predictive analysis and so much, the ultimate decision shouldn't be made by a machine. It should be made by human beings. So I guess that answers that.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, Mr. Mike, for succinctly answering these questions. I want to ask before we go, do we still have any more questions? Does any of the participants have any gray areas that they would love for Mr. Mike to clarify for them? Do we have any questions in-house?
There are a number of messages on the chat. They are quite interesting points. Debbie, King, Tonde, and you all made I was just going through the chat, and they're actually quite interesting points that everyone there has made. And yes, I agree with them. It's very important, like talking about artificial intelligence, there to support, not there to replace. So talking about still that gut feeling thing, it supports you, it helps you work better. It's not there to replace you. You can't replace people with machines, not just yet. The way machines are still far from getting there. So yeah, very important.
All right, thank you for throwing light on that. I want to take this opportunity to thank you, Mr. Mike, for coming. Do we still have any more questions or comments before we round up this afternoon? I can tell, even from the chats I've seen, this is a very, very wonderful presentation. I've learned a lot from this, and I hope to keep learning. Yes, Emmanuel, you raised your hand. Mr. Emmanuel, sir.
Yeah, thank you so much. I mean, when you asked for comments, I decided to just chip this comment in. Whenever I attend AI conferences or webinars like this, I notice, or whenever I speak with professionals, I have observed that we as humans tend to believe, or tend towards our bias, more. And so as a result of that, we conclude on subjects such as AI will not replace humans or AI cannot replace humans at all. But it's quite unfortunate, especially when for someone like myself, or I mean anyone, when you read a lot or when you are actively involved in artificial intelligence, you realize that everything boils down to data. All right. And if you can feed the AI model enough data, it's going to replace. So when it comes to replacing, so like Mr. Mike said, AI cannot replace totally yet. If you notice, he said yet, just yet. It means, it means it will begin to. And like I said, I consult for a company that we help businesses. Let me put it in plain terms. We help businesses replace people with AI systems. We help businesses replace people. Basically, that's what we do. We come and make it sound so nice by saying, oh, process optimization. But last, when we optimize the process, there are people who are the ones doing the mundane tasks. All right. And it's going to be AI systems or RPA systems that will replace them. So basically, the replacements have started, but the ultimate replacement has not occurred just yet, like Mr. Mike said. And so I just needed to check this in so that everyone would not just sit down, and relax and think that somehow AI is not going to, it will, because it's cheaper. It's cheaper. The cost of running the business. Anyone who's running a business here, you want to look at what's not going to cost you so much. So when it gets down to it, so my advice and my comments on AI replacing humans is, yes, it has started replacing humans. It has not replaced everyone yet. In fact, it has not replaced the larger majority. But we shouldn't, as humans, sit on our horses. We should be at the cutting edge of the latest technology, so that even if there's going to be replacement, it won't be you. All right. So yeah, thank you so much. That's the comment I wanted to give before we leave. Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Mike, once again. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Emmanuel. Thank you also, Mr. Mike. Before we round up, I need to remind us that Tlfirst is a global consulting organization. We have presence in Europe, in America, in Asia, and in Sub-Saharan Africa. We specialize in transformational leadership, strategy, productivity, innovation. We are also very adept at board development, financial reporting, and taxation. We also engage in executive leadership education. And as the case over time, we also have international exchange programs where we also take our clients on study tours. We have several clients from the presidency, the head of service, the secretary to the government of the federations, NDAs, and also private firms. I want to thank Mr. Mike for coming this afternoon. You have indeed been very succinct with your presentation. You've thrown more light on what AI is. The takeaway now is to say, don't get scared. Even though Mr. Emmanuel in his closing words said, let's not sit on our backs, let's be prepared. I think going forward, we can work hand in hand with the AI technology, with digitalization, so that humans don't lose out and the machines don't lose out. Like you mentioned in Matrix, he said the machines are coming. We need to be prepared before the machines actually get here eventually. I want to use this opportunity to thank the management of Tlfirst, our executive chairman, especially Professor Olusegun Olasade, for granting the platform, the opportunity to be able to have this webinar. I want to thank our corporate director, our amiable corporate director, Mrs. Yemi Olasade, for joining us. Thank you, everyone. I want to thank especially the participants for sparing time and for taking our time to join us on this very wonderful journey. We thank you very much for joining us. We thank Mr. Mike especially for coming. Let's all have a wonderful afternoon, and we look forward to having you on board on our next webinar. Thank you very much. Let's all have a pleasant afternoon. Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Bye.